Queensryche's Michael Wilton, Todd LaTorre has helped keep us relevant. No, he hasn't. He's helped keep you working. He's helped you to keep getting gigs. But relevant, no. You've put out a handful of albums with him. They don't sound anything like what people think of when they think of Queensryche. They don't sound like that. So stop your line. In a new interview with Sonar Redis Incorporated, Queensryche guitarist Michael Wilton spoke about the band's lead singer, the cunt midget Todd LaTorre, who joined the group in 2012 as a replacement for Queensryche's original brilliant vocalist Jeff Tate. Mike said, Todd has helped keep us relevant. He's a great songwriter, but he's not just a vocalist and a lyric writer. He's a drummer. He can play guitar, just like Taylor Swift. He can speak to you and communicate to you as a musician, not just as a singer. I mean, he grew up in Florida in the metal era, and he's got a lot of that influence, but he's very melodic as well, and he's got a killer voice. So I think it's just something that in the evolution of post-Queensryche is like, we are still doing it and kicking ass, and hopefully we'll all have something new out in the future. Kicking ass! Mike's probably in his late 50s, early 60s, and he thinks he's kicking ass. Look, I'm glad that he feels good about that. Maybe he has some problems with Tate. Tate got a little pretentious, up his own ass. We had to deal with crap like whatever the hell that last album was, the Chaos album. And then they put on a cabaret type show. I mean, I didn't go see that train wreck, but I could only imagine what sort of nightmare torture that would have been. But when I heard the Queensryche self-titled album with LaTorre singing, it wasn't Queensryche. Now, to be fair, Queensryche have, I wouldn't necessarily say evolved, but they have different sounds. You have the early sort of power metal sounds. You have the progressive metal when it comes to Rage and when it comes to Operation Mindcrime. And then they went into the Pink Floyd rock era with Empire and the Promised Land, or Promised Land, not the Promised Land, but Promised Land. They kept changing. And part of it was trying to keep up. I mean, I loathe most of Here in the Now Frontier. That Beatlesque ballad that was sung by Chris DeGarmo, I Love You. And so Chris leaves. So you have every opportunity to do something original. Like when Alex Skolnick, when he left Testament, Eric Peterson was like, we can finally be heavy again, because we go all the way up to Ritual, which was still a great album by Testament, but it was Testament trying to do Metallica's Black Album. And then Alex leaves. The reason why they're sounding the way they sound is because of Alex. Alex leaves, and then what do we get after that? What is the next album? Right. Low. This heavy-ass album, James Murphy, ex-Cancer, ex-Death, playing guitar, and it's just this balls-out return. And they only got heavier. But Queensryche, they get Chris DeGarmo leaves, who's a great songwriter, great guitarist, good vocalist. He leaves, and they still continue down that path of Queensryche meets grunge. And then there's just these hit and misses. I like Tribe. I think Tribe's a good album. And it's got a personality to it. That can even be said about the albums I don't like. Dedicated to Chaos or American Soldier. I mean, they're just boring ass albums. And it's just, yeah, they could have done something interesting and they chose not to. But I don't know, let's continue forward. Regarding the progress of the songwriting and recording sessions for the follow-up to 2022's Digital Noise Alliance, Mike said, right now we're writing. We're doing so much touring right now, it's hard to figure out where we'll have a block of time and make an album. I mean, but before we go to Europe, but not before we do all the state fairs that are coming up in autumn, we brought Zeus, Chris Harris, our producer, down to Florida, and we worked on some ideas. We just started writing, and that's where we're at right now. Wilton also talked about Queensryche's drummer Casey Grillo, ex-Camelot, a band heavily influenced by Queensryche, who joined the band in 2017 as a replacement for the illegitimately fired Queensryche drummer Scott Rockenfield. He said Casey is an amazing player and brings so much to Queensryche. He respects the songs, but he's such a dynamic player. He's very talented, and he helps in the writing process as well. So yeah, he's been in the band for 5 years. Wait, 6 years. Or whatever it is, 7 years. Oh yeah, he's great. I mean, I have no idea how long he's been in the band because I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about because I'm just blowing smoke up your ass because we are a travesty and a shadow of what we once were. But I have to say it in the most positive way possible to fucking convince myself because hopefully if I can convince you, I'll believe the lie too. And in October 2021, Rockenfield filed a lawsuit against Wilton and bassist Eddie Jackson, the last two people in Queensryche who contribute next to nothing in the Queensryche that you actually know and love, alleging, among other things, breach of contract, breach of fiduciary duty, and wrongful discharge. Yeah, it doesn't seem like Tate's exactly the bad guy here. Maybe there was something there. But a few months later, just to be cucks, Wilton and Jackson filed a counter lawsuit against Rockenfield, accusing him of leaving his position to go take care of his family and look after what was going on personally and misappropriating the group's assets to his own personal benefit because just saying that he abandoned the place, and once you know the truth about that, they look like assholes, they had to come up with something ambiguous that you really can't nail down. That dispute has since been settled out of court. Earlier this month, the little midget vagina known as TLT was asked by Chile's iRock.cl how Queensryche's sound has changed since he joined the group 13 years ago as the replacement for Tape, and he responded, I think that the band kind of got its sound back. What fucking sound did they get back? I've listened to 4 albums you've sung on, and none of them sound like the sound that they used to have. It sounds like a fucking glorified cover band that literally loves power metal and hates cops. More of the roots, the heavier kind of sound that Queensryche was known for early on. No, I've heard the fucking albums. Are you talking about other albums? Are you talking about Condition Human and The Verdict and that last piece of shit DNA? There was a long period of time where the music got more adult contemporary. Oh, you mean their biggest selling album, Empire? And less hard rock and heavy metal and progressive and all the other kind of different elements of Queensryche was known for. Yeah, because you don't hear any of that on Tribe or Operation Mindcrime 2. What a dick nozzle. So I think of me being in the band, I mean, could have been any other singer, and God only knows we wish it were, but has allowed these guys to completely write whatever they want to write without it being turned down as being too heavy, for example. Because that happened. Yeah, Tate said, you know what, that's too heavy. But then when Tate leaves the band, he fucking creates Operation Mindcrime and puts out 3 albums of progressive metal that revolve around a single storyline. So yeah, but tell yourself whatever you got to tell yourself to fucking sleep at night. To be fair, maybe Tate figured that out after the fact because they were doing shit like whatever that goddamn Dedicated to Chaos was and then following it up with a cabaret tour. So maybe onto something. I don't know. He continued, I love the old classic stuff. We perform all the songs in the standard tunings like when they were recorded. So there's no down tune that changes the way it sounds. Get in that dig at Jeff Tate. But to be fair, Tate's been accused of lip syncing as of late, and I've seen the videos. Pretty good evidence. I think that's helped contribute to the kind of resurgence of the band. But we just write songs, and sometimes I think, oh, I want to write a masterpiece of a song like Roads to Madness, or a great song like Take Hold of the Flame, or I don't know, songs off Operation Mindcrime, for example. But since I'm not Jeff Tate, and Chris DeGarmo is long gone, there's no high hell chance of that happening. But we have all great time, and the chemistry in the band is perfect. Perfect for the mediocre slop that we've been putting out for the last 4 albums that the last 500 fans that we have keep eating up. We are all super, super close. We get along off stage so well that, I think that's the contribution I bring is the jokes, the laughter and the creativity with the music. You're going to take credit for that? Okay. The art idea, like the shitty art you saw on that AI generated The Verdict. I don't know. That's the best way I could answer it, is I'm just 1/5 of Queensryche, but the most important fifth. And you have to drink a fifth to get through our fucking music. But the band is in a very healthy state. Regarding how he sees the future of Queensryche, the midget said, oh man, I kind of see the future as kind of what we're doing still. A lot of bands have retired, just like we should have. And we're still out there because we have no fucking money coming in, with the exception of doing these cover band tours, because our albums sell for shit, and the early albums that actually generate the money, well, the main songwriters are there on those albums are no longer in the fucking band. So this is what we do. We're on the road again, just like Willie, because we got shit to pay for. There's nothing in the future that I see of the band retiring. I mean, we play about 100 shows a year. God, I wish we could do more, but I'd fucking pass out, and I couldn't go after all these Barbie midgets that I love so much. So probably more of the same shit that we've been doing, just performing live shows, writing mediocre songs, putting out shitty albums, and promoting our fucked up art that way. I mean, it really boils down to the live concert. That's really where we are now, because those are the only fucking dollars we'll ever see. And in a separate interview with Brazil's Monsters of Rock, the midget was asked unexplored musical directions he would like to see on Queensryche, go in on the band's upcoming follow-up after DNA. He said, well, we're kind of doing the same shit. Like I said before, it's just the same general slop written in those 8 chords that absolutely go fucking nowhere. That's what we're doing. Quit fucking hammering me about this. I mean, we don't go in writing a record with a preconceived idea. We just get in a room and go, hey, show me your guitar parts. What do you have in mind? Because that's how you write albums like Empire and Operation Mindcrime, the stuff that I said I would really like to write, but don't have the time or tenacity to actually sit down and do it. We just get in a room and make up shit. And then we kind of all get together and see what happens in real time. So as far as unexplored musical directions, I don't know. I'm a big Taylor Swift fan, and I'd love to do some shit with her, but personally, I'd love to hear more clean guitars, like on her album, or maybe some more spacious stuff, like she did on her Poet album, or some more clean guitar. Like I said before, orchestration is always fun to work with. I mean, it works so well for songs like Roads to Madness, Silent Lucidity, songs that we're just incapable of writing. It's a very huge and cinematic sounding, like Real World. I mean, what a brilliant song. We'll never write one of those again. So those are fun things to play with. Maybe some different percussion things would be interesting to play around with. But gosh, after 40 plus years, 13 of only of which I've been a part of, I think without completely changing the band style of music, I don't know that there's really too much unexplored musical directions. I mean, Queensryche, even with Tate at the helm, has put out some really shit fare. I mean, kind of done a lot within that Queensryche. And it has to run around in and run into the ground. I mean, if we were to do something, we wouldn't write a hip-hop song. We wouldn't write a death metal song. That'd be too adventurous. So within the confines of what Queensryche is, as diverse as it is, except for the last 4 albums, I don't know what kind of unexplored musical directions there would be. On the next one, I mean, I would love to say, like, I play around with some of the other clean guitar sounds, maybe some more interesting percussion things, like the song I Am I had some really neat percussion things going on. I'd like to do something like that. But like I said before, the 2 guys responsible for the majority of that album, no longer here. Guitarist Mike Stoney rejoined Queensryche in 2021, contributed guitar solos to the band's latest studio album. And my God, didn't they stand out? You remember that one where he did that thing? No, of course you don't, because it's garbage. Since late May 2021, Stone has been handling second guitar duties in Queensryche, which announced in July 2021 that longtime guitarist Parker Lundgren was exiting the group to focus on other business ventures. Yeah, he's got more neck tattoos to get. Stone originally joined Queensryche for the 2003 album Tribe and stayed with the band for 6 years before leaving the group. Tribe, honestly, that's probably the best post-Empire album. I mean, even more so than Promised Land. So anyway, there it is. Todd LaTorre, the little midget, the self-aggrandizing douchebag himself, along with Mickey and some other guys talking about the future of what's being called Queensryche. Yeah, you can call it Queensryche, but it ain't fucking Queensryche. I know it's not my band, and I know what you got to do to make a paycheck, but that's fucking sad. It's just really fucking sad. Anyway, see you in the next video.